Humanity Matters.
Welcome back here to the Fog of War and Humanity on hmTv. We just got into an unbelievable part of this podcast today with Clarence Simpson about the Tuskegee Airmen. I've done over, I believe, 100 episodes for hmTV, and this is the first time that we've spoken about this black group that was very, very distinguished, decorated, tremendous amount of training here on the stateside, a lot of different obstacles, and then finally making it over to North Africa, Sicily, Italy, and through parts of Europe, especially as the military headed eastward towards Germany to finish up the war. What were we kind of saying about your family and Tuskegee and being in Alabama?
Well, my Uncle Larry, who was my dad's brother-in-law, we never knew that he was even in the military. I mean, he was a teacher, he was an RN, and he raised 3 children because he was a widow also. But we were going down to Fort Myers from MacArthur Airport, and was strapped in and buckled in the airline. And he says to me, the last time I was on an airplane, I was in the Army Air Corps. And I looked at him, I said, Uncle Larry, you in the Army Air Corps? And he said, yeah. I said, well, where were you going? He said, I was going to Alabama. And I said, you going to Alabama with the Tuskegee? He said, yeah. I said, Uncle Larry, you were Tuskegee Airmen? And he said, yeah. He said, I didn't fly the planes, but I put the armor on the planes.
So you really had a distinguished military, in terms of your family and your background. And
yeah, well, he was down. He went to Africa, North Africa. He went to Europe. I guess it had to be Acritelli
in Italy.
Acritelli Air Force Air Base. And he went to, he was telling me how he met Eleanor Roosevelt, came down to Tuskegee, and they took her
to
up
support
in the air.
The program.
Yeah, to support the keeping of the Black Air Corps. And then my father's brother, my Uncle Albert, Uncle Lefty, my father was telling me one day.
That's a great name, Uncle Lefty, right?
Yeah, he was right-handed too. Yeah. But Uncle Lefty, Uncle Albert, Lefty Simpson, my dad was telling me.
Sounds like a pitcher.
Yeah.
Right?
He was telling me, he says, my dad tells me, he says, Lefty was in the Battle of the Bulge. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, Uncle Albert he never said anything about that. So I called him up, and I remember where I was. I was at Home Depot coming back from upstate, right next to, what's the name of that? Yonkers. So I called Uncle Lefty, and I said, Uncle Lefty, I said, I didn't know you were in the Battle of the Bulge. I said, what was that like? What was it? He said, it was like the 4th of July. Really? He said, it was like the 4th of July. I said, unbelievable. He said, when we hit the beach. And I said, wow, unbelievable, unreal. But I never really knew that.
So you had family members on the ground?
Yeah.
Moving, whether it was with the armor or infantry?
Yeah.
And family members that were supporting the air over Germany.
And
both were very costly.
Yeah.
Very, very costly.
And the thing is that, like I said, mentioned earlier, when I went down to South Carolina during the summer, I was about 9 years old. My cousin Johnny Brown, and I can go back in history with Auntie Ella's son, Auntie Ella Brown's son. But I always saw his picture on her veranda. He had the Air Force uniform on with the ascot, the blue ascot. And I always saw that picture. But he came home on leave one time I was down there, and I felt like, wow, that's really cool, But I have a lot of family that, put in the military. Yeah. And I could name a few more, but I don't want to take up that much time.
But it's in everybody's family, whether it's one person or 10, right?
Yeah.
So now you're in Vietnam. When do you leave Vietnam itself there?
Well, the morning I was supposed to leave Vietnam, I was on ambush patrol the night before. And
so they stick you on one of the most dangerous things that you could do.
Yeah, myself and
as you're about to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
And it was myself and about 3 other guys, and we were from Long Island, New York. And we were supposed to be on the morning chopper going home. We were at the bottom of a place called Nui Ba Den, the Black Virgin Mountain.
Wow.
And if you were in the third war zone, War Zone 3, on the Cambodian border, Nui Ba Den was one of the highest elevations. Now, at the bottom of Nui Ba Den were U.S. forces. In the middle was the most intense, massive tunnel system. I mean, hospitals, everything. On the top was the special forces. But that's where
the tunnel systems were all NVA and Viet Cong and everything?
Yeah, I mean...
I know you're a big guy.
Never went down there.
Thankfully so, right? Yeah.
Thanks goodness.
But there was smaller guys, right, that were probably...
That went down, yeah.
With light infantry stuff, right, that went in there?
Handgun and flashlight. But I went on ambush patrol that night, and when I got back, I went up. I left on the morning chopper.
Did you know that you were going out the next day?
No.
You were probably better off not knowing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I would have probably...
Because that's a cruel joke to play on somebody.
I know. It was... We were out there that night, and it was... See, when I was over in Nam, the first 35, 40 days, 50 days, you're really scared.
Yeah.
I mean, you
don't know.
You're paranoid, you're scared, you're traumatized. But after that, it's like whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if I get out of here, I get out. If I don't, I don't. But then when you start getting short around 35, 40, 50
then you
days,
start wondering, right?
Then you start, that's when you can make errors.
Was that true in Platoon? Because they're asking everybody how many days you got left.
Yeah.
And then they look at Charlie Sheen's character.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I can't even remember when I was that long.
Yeah. You get reckless when you get short.
When you get short.
You get reckless.
What does that mean? That you start getting away from the things that you're accustomed to doing, right?
Yeah.
The
routine.
The routine.
The discipline. The being aware.
Yeah.
Don't write me any letters anymore. I don't want anything to distract me.
Sure.
Take my attention away from what I want to get home. You know. And
let me ask you this: you're in the field a lot.
Yeah.
You're going home, but the night before, you're doing your job. You're out in the field, ambush, right? Is it hard to turn that stuff on and off?
Well, now it is because I'm going home tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you've already sort of mellowed out just a wee bit, not to the point where you get reckless, but you know that there's a chance that you can get out of here.
No, but what I'm saying is like when you get home and you're done and you're out of uniform, like that, do you have PTSD, or is there things that trigger you?
Well,
there's nothing natural about, explosions.
I've been in the same PTSD group since 24 years. There's 8 of us, and there are triggers.
Yeah,
there are triggers. That's why I'm still with the same guys.
Because it's like the guys from your Army unit. Yeah. It's that sense of camaraderie. You know them, they know you.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I get back. Finally, get back to base camp. Get back to base camp. The chopper makes it back, because now you're thinking about, what if the chopper gets shot out the sky? What if it falls? What if you get back and you start packing your gear up. You start processing out. Then you go to a place called Camp Alpha, which is a big center where everybody processes in and processes out. And I'm sitting there in Camp Alpha with my beer or whatever, I think it was beer or something like that. And I see 2 guys from Riverhead. They're coming in, and I'm going home.
What's better, coming in or going out? Going out, right?
And they said, "Are you coming just first day?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm out of here, man." You just tell them what's going on.
Where did you know those guys from? Just From school or from?
Just from hanging out in Riverhead, you know, from college. Although they didn't go to college, but I just knew them from different juke joints and bars and stuff like that.
Main Street, right?
Yeah, and we was talking, and I'm telling them what it's like, and I'm saying, hey man, they got real bullets here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no game. You know, this is really what the deal is. So whatever you were doing back there, you can't bring it here, man. It's a whole different world, you know. And I'm waiting for my plane. Wait until the next night, then I leave. The next morning, I leave for the plane back home to America.
So you sailed over, and then you flew back.
Yeah.
What was better?
Well, flying back because we left what they call Tonsanute Air Force Base. We went from there to Yokohama. From Yokohama to I think it was Fairbanks,
Alaska.
Alaska. Right? Then from Alaska to Travis.
So you went up and then down the coastline.
Yeah, came back down the coastline.
And then did you end up back at Lewis, sir?
Well, I was supposed to go back to Fort Lewis, but what happened? My wife, God rest her soul, I had a 25 or 30-day leave or something, but she typed a letter for me, and she sent it to Congressman Otis G. Pike in Riverhead.
Yeah.
And I started packing up my car because I was going to drive back to Seattle, back to Fort Lewis, cross country. And just as I was getting ready to...
because you were still in the service.
Yeah, still in the service.
You were going to go back from Long Island.
Yeah.
Back out to Washington.
Yeah.
And then end up coming back again.
And so what happened, back then, they had the taxi cabs deliver Western Union.
Yeah.
So the taxi cab pulls in the driveway when I was coming out the house, and he gives me his telegram telling me, Otis from Otis Pike.
Were you about to make that trip westward?
Yeah.
Wow.
Telling me to report to Fort Dix. So I ended up going to Fort Dix, New Jersey, where it all started.
The process up?
Yeah, and I was a DI down there for about 2-3 months.
How did you like doing that, dude?
Being a DI?
Yeah.
Best job I ever had.
Really? What did you like about it?
Well, the thing was that I had my own bedroom, my own room.
Your own area?
My own area. And, you know, I went out there and I yelled at the guys, you know, I yelled at them and all of that. But I had my car.
Did you like to yell? Because you're such a good guy. Like,
I yelled at them, you know.
But you laugh more than you yell, you know, right? So,
but it was fun yelling at them because, you know, and plus learning some of the things that I was taught to tell them to take your head out of your butt.
Yeah.
They're not playing any games over there. This is a real thing. That's where you're going.
So was that 66 going into 67?
This was 67, just before, October 67, I think it was.
And the war is just escalating. It's just going right through the ceiling.
Just before Tet.
Before Tet.
I came home, and I spent, you know.
Did your wife go down to Jersey at all to see you there?
No, I was just driving back and forth every other weekend. I didn't come back every weekend.
My godfather was a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
And he was at Dick's.
Yeah.
And he'd go back and forth to Queens. You know?
Yeah. I drove back, you know, sometimes I stay down there with a couple of guys, you know, hang out, go to Wrightstown.
You know Wrightstown, yeah.
Everybody knows Wrightstown, you know. But
Dick's was a big place. That was a big...
Huge.
And now you got a state prison down there.
Yeah.
Which is old barracks that
That's
they
what I
threw
heard.
barbed wire around. And then you have a federal right over by the Air Force Base there, you know.
So I was down there for a while, and then I packed up, and I mean, I went out on bivouacs with them, and you know, camped out and so forth.
Did you like doing that, coming back, or it didn't bother you, or
coming back
and bivouacking with the guys there?
It didn't bother me.
Didn't bother you?
No, because you know, I'd been there, done that, and I had a choice. I could have either stayed out there with them or drive back to the barracks.
Yeah,
and stay in the barracks by myself. You know, go down to the what do you call it? The club, the officers,
the NCO
club. Yeah. You know,
I've spent some time there in the NCO club.
To just do what I wanted to do. You know, But it was.
Did it make your time faster to be with the men, to be out in the field with them, and to be
just to listen to their conversation and listen? I think they sensed that I had a soft side too.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that
were you a big guy?
Yeah,
when 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, I was probably about 100 and maybe 180 pounds.
And what, 6'1", 6'2"?
6'2", yeah. Which wasn't that bad.
But you're in good shape, and if you're yelling a little bit, right?
But it was an experience. It was really.
What was the one thing you liked about training? Did you like the physical part? Did you like marching? Did you like calling out cadences?
I like calling cadences. I like marching with the guys. I like.
Did the cadence come from all the way down here in your belly and come out?
Yeah, just like. Now, when you're in basic and AIT, you do that anyway.
Yeah.
You do it when you're marching. But it was an experience. I must admit that.
Did that stay with you later on in life a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, not much.
But enough that it's there, though, right?
Well, I had a contractor come over because we were doing our house over again. And one of the guy looks at me, he says, "Mr. Simpson." I said, "What?" He says, "You have OCD." I said, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, it's from the military.
He says, "Your shoes are all lined up." He says, "Your shirts in the closet are lined up." He says, "You got a problem, Mr. Simpson."
Well, my wife says it's the opposite. What happened? I'm going to get that instructor back here.
Like when I do the dishes at night, I make sure
you got your routine,
everything.
Right?
I full like that. There's no dishes left in the sink. All of the forks and everything. Everything is straight.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a little of that from your father? Because your father seemed like he was pretty sharp.
He was pretty sharp. Yeah.
He was with it, right?
Yeah. Plus, I get it from the house itself.
Yeah.
From the house itself. Because
you get smacked in the head if you don't do something right.
Yeah.
Right. So. All right, so now
my daughter will come visit me, and
is she like that too? Your daughter?
Oh, I mean, she comes, and next thing I know, she's got the Windex or the pledge, and I say, "You didn't." I said, "I'm not going to say anything because she's the boss."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm bang.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, but you can laugh about it.
Yeah, she's the best. Yeah, I must admit that she's.
So now you get out of the Army, right?
Yeah.
You go back to college?
Go back to college. Then I started working at, I went back to Grumman.
Okay.
I worked in pre-flight, Plant 6.
Is that Calverton?
Yeah. And I left there because of the rivet guns. And plus I had an opportunity. I ended up working at Brookhaven Lab. And
did they treat you well being a veteran?
There's
probably a lot of
They were all veterans there,
yeah.
As a matter of fact, there were 4 guys that worked at Grumman that were drafted with me also the same day.
And you ended up seeing them there eventually?
We still keep in touch.
That's great. It really is.
Yeah, we still keep in touch. As a matter of fact, I had an appointment at the VA few years ago, and the lady calls to confirm. She says, "Mr. Simpson?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "My name." She said, "This is what was it? Not orthopedics, or whatever it was." And she says, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Are you CJ?" And I said, "Yes, I am."
Name in years, yeah.
She says, "You know my father." So I said, "Yes." She said, "Yes." She said, "Bruce Blakesley." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "How you doing?" I said, "Wow, I was at your wedding."
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah." So she still works at the VA, and every time we see, she said, "My father said hi." So you tell him he lives in Florida. But
a small world, huh?
Yeah. But the thing is that,
and then you went to
I was a Grumman.
Brookhaven Lab. How long were you at Grumman for?
I was all in total probably about a year.
Okay.
And then I went to Brookhaven Lab for about 4 years.
What did you do over there?
I was a computer programmer in the physics department and a computer tech.
So the technology with the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I went from, then I was talking to a customer engineer from IBM, and he gave me a lead, and I ended up with Xerox as an account manager for 12, 15 years.
So was that early 1970s?
Yeah.
Were you keeping an eye on the war at that point, or were you just
I was
looking to get done
far removed, trying to get back into
to civilian life?
Yeah, civilian life. And then from 71, I think, yes, it had to be 71 because Leslie was born in 72. I ended up in 81, 89, 81, 82, I went to AT&T.
Another good company.
Yeah, I was an account manager again there. And I went from, then it became AT&T. They had a divestiture, which became New York Tel, which became 9X, which became Bell Atlantic, which became Verizon.
Yeah, always changing every so many years, right?
I never quit the job. I was still there.
And they were good to work for. Huh?
Yeah, I had a good time with them. I ended up traveling. I was always a manager, but I ended up as a training and education. So I was flying all over the country, training people on everything from basic dial tone to cell phones and high-speed data, designing data networks and stuff like that. And then I retired because they gave us a package.
Did you like working in the city?
Loved it.
Where were you living? Medford?
Yeah.
So you take the train in or drive in?
Train every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
From Ronkonkoma?
Yeah. Well, I started Patchogue, then Ronkonkoma.
What would you do? Take a nap, read the paper?
Take a nap, read the paper.
Probably knew some guys on the train, right, that you saw every day, right?
Well, maybe 2 or 3, because a lot of the guys that were on the railroad, I mean, they were heavy boozers.
Brown paper bag it on the way home, right?
I mean, every night you get tired of it.
Yeah.
They had a bar car, the whole thing. I'd sit down and...
Would you have 1 or 2 drinks, or that wasn't your thing?
I'd have a beer or 2 and take a nap or something like that, But I enjoy it. I really, I tell a couple of guys at the VA, and I tell people, the only thing I did not like about commuting was that I didn't spend enough time in it. Now I know where the garbage goes when I put it out at night.
Sure.
Now I know who my neighbors are. But
yeah, because you're working, but you have to get there and you have to get home.
Yeah, it
takes time.
I mean, Saturdays you run around, you drop your suits off at the cleaners and stuff like that, and get the laundry shirts done. Then Sunday you
decompress a little bit.
Then Monday you're back at it again. Yeah. But as far as the city life, I mean, there's nothing like New York City. I mean, the restaurants, especially the restaurants. I mean, you step outside, you have
And you worked lower Manhattan?
All over.
All over.
I worked anywhere. You could see me anywhere from Buffalo to Albany to
They fly you up to Buffalo? And...
to Silver Spring, Maryland, to anywhere.
Yeah.
I was all over the place.
And it was a good job, huh?
Yeah, very good job.
Now, you were saying between one of the breaks of the segments that you were in Lower Manhattan during 9/11.
Yeah, what happened, I was on my way to, my home office in training and education was in Brooklyn. And I was on my way to World Trade because we had an office there, floors 9 through 15. And I changed to Jamaica, and you take the express train to Brooklyn. Then you take the 2 or the 3 straight down to Fulton Street. Then I could walk straight ahead. And that's when we saw this first plane. Well, we didn't see the first plane hit, but we saw the second plane
Saw
hit.
the second one?
Yeah.
Where were you? Were you out on the street walking?
I was on Fulton and William.
Wow.
Yeah. So then you go back downstairs and you go to Brooklyn office. And that's when sitting there at the window, because we were on the 18th floor in Brooklyn, that's when you can see the whole thing.
Yeah.
See everything. We saw the towers come down. We saw the whole thing.
And you're standing there just like looking out the window. And
standing there looking out the window. Across
on a beautiful sunny day, right?
That was the most clearest, crisp Tuesday morning.
Late summer day.
I had ever seen.
Yeah.
It was I mean, there was I just, it wasn't a cloud. It was just
Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
Perfect Tuesday.
People putting their kids on the bus, and going to work.
Perfect Tuesday.
You find it hard to believe that was 25 years ago?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day, and I said, you figure, I mean, it seems just like yesterday it happened.
Yeah.
Just like yesterday. And, I think about, like you said, on the way home every night, everybody sits in the same car, same. And then when you're coming home, you're looking on a train.
And some of those people aren't there.
Yeah, but the scariest part is that the people that left their cars in the garage at Ronkonkoma, in the cars, next thing you know, they got dust on them.
Because they're there for so long, right?
They're just sitting there empty.
You've definitely seen some stuff, because think about Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
Vietnam in terms
Martin Luther King. Yeah, Kennedy.
Reagan gets
shot.
Right?
John Lennon.
So you've seen...
Yeah, it's been a lot.
And then 9/11, that's at is that the tail end of your working? Is that towards the end of it?
I don't know.
Did you have a couple more years after that? Did you kept on working?
I left, what I did, I left in 2002. Early 2002. And I went back for 3 years.
Okay.
As a contractor.
And you don't like flying, right?
No, I took Amtrak everywhere.
You take Amtrak, right?
Boston. I took Amtrak to Boston, took Amtrak to, I flew one time. My granddaughter's graduation down in Atlanta.
Okay.
And we really didn't want to go up there.
You're a good grandfather.
Because then you got to go back.
Yeah.
But then one other time, because I had to go to Portland, Maine, and I was a contractor, and I had to go out of, I think the little planes, the props, are safer than the big ones. But there were 50 or 60 mile per hour gusts, and it was just myself and one other passenger on the plane.
Yeah.
And he had a tough time he said, once we get 8,000 feet, we'll level out. And I kept telling the pilot, I said, well, turn around. I said, go back, because I said, I'll take Amtrak to Portland.
All right, we're going to come back. I just want to kind of get into the Suffolk County chapter of Vietnam veterans.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And then that will be it for the afternoon. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
and
thank you. I appreciate it.
But we're going to come back for a shorter episode here on the Fog of War and Humanity with Clarence Simpson. He's going into his 5th episode. Absolute gentleman. It's been an absolute pleasure having him with us today. Please return to the Fog of War and Humanity and hmTv.